Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Tehcyries. Boy, do we have a packed show for you all today, but before we dive into all the goodies we have to discuss, I'm Morgan, and this is KP. How's it
That's
going,
right.
KP?
Oh, you know what? It's been a pretty good start to the day, I woke up, got my exercise in for today, so I'm good. I'm hyped.
Good job.
And then got on and we're ready to do this show. There is a lot going on, and I'm shocked like as we're going, like more things are just popping in and I'm like, I
There's
don't have all
so
the room
much
for this in
stuff
our
going
show.
on right now.
But we do have a lot of big news about a mobile game for Destiny. And we're looking at some of the games that were showcased in Steam's Next Fest, which is underway right now. And I know Morgan and I kind of dipped our toe, I want to say a little bit, in some demos. So we'll be showing you guys that as well. But first, let's dive into our Tech Pulse.
All right, everybody. It's official. The Pokemon developer Game Freak has confirmed that their company has suffered a data breach back in August. Yay, yay, yay. So,
Ay, ay, ay.
hey, hey, hey. Game Freak said that 2,606 cases of current, former, and contract employee names and email addresses have been illegally accessed from their server hack. This statement has actually been dated as of October 10th, so this is a pretty recent update, but kind of, I don't know if this is backdated. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But that being said, that's not all that has been leaked during the hack. The hackers were able to steal data that includes code names for 10th generation Pokemon games and even the Nintendo Switch 2. So, as reported by Nintendo Life, this data leak includes the code name of the unannounced 10th generation Pokemon game Gaia, the codename of the announced Pokemon Legends Z through A, which is Kieku. I hope I said that right. And then lastly, the codename Ounce, which is for Nintendo's next gen console. Game Freak has apologized to those affected by the data breach and insisted the vulnerability at the heart of the hack has since been rebuilt in a given statement. So, yeah, yeah. KP, what do you got for us?
It's just crazy how people are just diving in and just, I don't know, like, can we just not
Stop
release?
hacking people. It's not
Exactly. Can
nice.
we just can we just stop? Please, just stop. Oh. All right. Well, I got a spooky game that will have you sitting quietly and holding your breath. That's right. The developers of A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead, is based on the Paramount Pictures franchise. This game will have you shuddering in the dark. That's because the developer added an optional feature that lets the game's monsters hear sounds players make in real life. The noise detection feature works by activating your microphone, letting the game's deadly creatures detect every sound you make in your home. If this sounds like a scary game that you want to tackle, well, guess what? The single player horror game is available on Steam for roughly 30 US dollars. I don't know about you, Morgan. I don't want to be sitting in my house being like, all right, especially for streaming. Could you imagine? It's like, all right, guys, I can't say anything. Literally can't. Stop texting me. Dead.
Honestly, I want to play this game so bad. On like so over on Wannabes, we've discussed this game a couple times now too because we're all three of us are really big Quiet Place fans, and
Yeah.
we most very recently discussed this when we were talking about our um Quiet Place day one review. So yeah, this is something I've been watching, like looking at for a while, and it seems really interesting, really intriguing. It seems like it's going to be really intense, and I would happily dive into this.
I mean, I think it's
So,
a good option. I like the optional feature. I
hmm
kind of wish though it was multiplayer just because I think it'd be funny to be like if you and I were playing it or you, me, and Dan and just being like, guys, I can't say anything. Not right now. Just like super trying not to get detected. Of course, my chair makes a squeaky noise, so
my
and did.
Owen would show up. Meow! Fuck!
And dead.
Well, let's talk about that Destiny mobile game, yeah?
I guess so. I mean,
Because
I know one person that's hyped for it. I will tell you that.
I'm intrigued by it. But let's talk about it first.
Mhm.
So first things first, Pete Parson officially has made his way into mobile games, which, is going to help fund his next car purchases with his partnership with Next's games, but whatever. The Destiny franchise is officially coming to mobile games with the title Destiny Rising. This is a new free to play mobile sci fi RPG shooter that will include a shared world, a number of playable hero characters, in PvE and PvP modes, all while being set in Bungie's Destiny universe. So, what is the game going to be like? You'll be able to pick from a variety of Destiny hero characters instead of creating your own guardian based sorry. You'll be able to pick from a variety of Destiny heroes instead of creating your own guardian based on the hunter, warlock, or titan classes. For example, Ikora Rey, the warlock vanguard in both Destiny 1 and 2, will be available among a host of new characters. Now, each character will have unique abilities and stories. As such, we even see new abilities in the trailer, like the new Void Scythe that feels very Warlock esque. There will also be the familiar Ghost, Lightbearers, Iron Lords, and Warlords found in the Destiny universe before the last city, as well as familiar enemies like the Fallen Hive and Vex. So, Destiny Rising players will be able to play in first person or third person and will have the ability to play the game either with the touchscreen or controllers. Players will also be able to access single, co op, and competitive multiplayer modes. Powerful exotic weapons will be available in the Destiny mobile games, as well as new mythic weapon rarity class. That includes a new weapon type as well, so that'll be interesting. So, for me, where does this take place in the Destiny universe? Destiny Rising will be set actually in an alternative Destiny timeline, so will not impact the story we already know and love. This new Destiny narrative is meant to include the searching for seeds of hope that are said to shape the future of human civilization after its collapse in the Dark Age of Destiny lore. So, as for one of as for the one developing this mobile game, it is China-based it is the China-based NetEase Games, and that's their developer for Destiny Rising. After their partnership and $100 million US investment into the studio back in 2018, so they're back in this hardcore. Um, NetEase is licensing the Destiny brand from Bungie and has been granted creative freedom to develop its own storyline and vision for the mobile game. NetEase has not stated on what monetization system they will use, but it does say in the FAQ that a good part of the main campaign will be available in their alpha test alongside at least one map from all game modes. For those waiting to know more or even wanting to test out the game itself, it will be available first as a limited access closed alpha test on November 1st in the United States and Canada. So if you're interested, you can register for the Destiny Rising test version on NetEase's website. I'm gonna be honest, I already went and signed up.
Nice. I feel like okay, I'm not trying to like compare this to Diablo, but it does feel like a reverse Blizzard on me reading like
Okay.
when I saw that this was released, just because I remember when we were waiting for Diablo 4 to come out and they were like, "Okay, so we got a new Diablo game for you and it's mobile." And we were all like, "What the fuck?" Because we were not happy about it. Um,
Yeah, I remember you
but I
doing your demo
mean,
on that.
Yeah, yeah. And that one actually did take place on the actual timeline. So it's fascinating that this one's not going to be on the timeline because that
Right.
one was, which was a very fascinating
I think that's
aspect.
because like Blizzard released the mobile game where Bungie is not. You know,
Right.
they didn't want another developer fucking with the timeline they've already created.
Well, what I really hope what they do is I hope they will port it just like they did with Immortal, Diablo Immortal, because that would be really great. I don't mind that it's a mobile game because, a lot of people do like mobile games and that's great, but
Hmm.
like for these kinds of games, I feel like if you can port it so that at least it can be played through the computer, I think people will be happier with that. And I think also it just adds to it. I don't know what they're going to do per se when it comes to like, so in Immortal, it's very much like you can tell it's a mobile game. It's got all the
Sure,
mobile
sure.
aspects and everything. I don't know how far this game is going to be in that mobile verse, is what I'm going to call it. It's a new word, mobile verse. We'll
Love it.
mark it down. So it's going to be fascinating. I think for me, it's more like I want to wait till they get all the bugs out,
Hmm.
figure it all out, and then I'll jump into it and see if I like it. But I do think it's fascinating. I think it's interesting that they're able to now say, okay, we're going to add, you said that we're going to add new classes. Like it's not just going to be your traditional. And maybe that's something for what's to come with Destiny overall. Because I felt like even with Immortal for Diablo, that we have all these classes and now I'm seeing like, okay, we have these cool classes that are immortal and maybe they'll take some of those and tweak them and make them into the actual game. So maybe we'll see that down the road with how everything kind of like melds together.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do. I definitely like. I went and signed up for the the closed alpha access. Hopefully, I get it. Because I would love to be able to capture it and like talk about it on the show. But also like if I do get access, I'm hoping to when I do the test, if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to actually stream myself, but if I could just like do like just chatting and playing it, cool, that'd be awesome. But we'll see. We'll see what my schedule allows. I might just have to do a quick record. I used to play games like the Elder Scrolls one that came out, and that was years ago. And I stopped playing them just because of the battery drain. I think
Mm,
the back then the technology for phones wasn't as good, obviously isn't as good as it is now, so it didn't run those games as well, and like my phone would get really really hot. It would drain the battery really fast. So those are other signs I'm going to be looking at when I'm testing this game. How is the battery drain? How is it making the phone suffer? Is my phone feeling like it's getting almost like overheated? Because the what I've seen so far in that trailer we just showed everybody was the graphics look really nice and crispy. It looks like Destiny. There are different character models, which is fun to see. So I am curious to see what the playability will be like on the phone. It should be decent, but is it
mhm.
going to be really good?
Yeah, I'd be also curious to see how does it hold your attention. I know you're a huge Destiny fan, but I would just be curious, just in general, how does it hold your attention? Because even the people that are big fans of something, that might not hold their attention as
Right.
long. So
I'm
I'd
to
be curious for that one.
like I do play mobile games, but they're really like here a crossword or like here's this block game, and I do it only like when I'm laying in bed and I can't fall asleep, and I use it to tire out my brain. That is the
Yeah,
mobile games I play. I don't typically play stuff like this, and that's usually just because if I'm gonna play a game, I'd rather be sitting right here at my PC. So
right,
we'll
exactly.
see how it goes. I mean, there are the really cool because you can use it, play with it with controllers. There are those cool like controller docks for your cell phones
Hmm.
now that I've seen people use. That could be the game. That could honestly be the biggest game changer because it's like you have the Steam Deck or a Switch, but with your
Hmm.
phone instead. And even though those are portable items, that feels to me almost even more portable because my phone's smaller than them. Um, and I don't have to have a case that carries everything. My phone just goes in my pocket, and then I can just throw my controller in my purse. It might be really cool, like if I was on the airplane. But
Yeah,
if this is online, is there any offline story stuff I could do? Like, or
right.
am I just not able to play the game at all? So we'll see.
Yeah, I'd also say too, I was looking up because I was curious. There are also Bluetooth that you can work with your mobile and also tablets that are just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
mouse and keyboard, so, like, even giving you that kind of feel too,
That's
so
true. Okay, I do have my tablet, and I do have a little Bluetooth uh keyboard,
yeah,
and then I have my USB-C to USB where I can put my mouse into it, so I could play that way. And I do have
right.
at least a 10-inch tablet, so that could be a way around of like playing it a little bit more to how I would like it. But we'll see, because it says controller and touch pad. So I
Right,
don't
which
think
is
I'm assuming we probably, I don't know if it's even made to have mapping for devices that have these additional uses.
and that well, then maybe that's something they think about. I mean, it is going in
Hmm.
only alpha, so
For sure.
it's not even at the full stage yet.
For sure.
Right
For
now,
sure.
it's just at the baby stages. So we'll see
Absolutely.
what happens, you know?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I mean, like, I'm not gonna hate on it. Like, I know are some Destiny fans like, oh man, this is definitely what we didn't need. It's like, you know what? It's a different developer who's partnering with Bungie to make it and is
Mhm.
licensing Bungie. So I'll see what it's like and see what they do with it. They're going
Yeah,
to
I
be
will
doing a
say
part of this, also the storyline that we don't have a lot of info on. We do have info. I'll be curious to see if they change any of the lore, if they keep the lore and they build upon it, because that could be cool.
there was something that was said. I'm trying to see if I can find it really fast. Um, it was discussed, maybe it was in my channel.
I
Let me
can look
see
at my
where
phone. I know that I believe, because for mine and Rob's, uh,
Oh, here we go.
clan.
Uh, I know that Latin has played mobile game NetEase games before.
Okay.
And so he said with those that they were heavy on the microtransactions. So I would want you to like, if you do get access to it, I'd be like, hey, make a note of how much we're talking like microtransactions here.
Oh, this
So
is
I'm curious
interesting.
how that all plays in because he has had a lot of uh, run-ins with them, I should say.
Okay, so this is interesting. I just went to check because I know there was discussion about it as well in
Mhm.
mine and Rob's Destiny clan server that we have,
Right.
and um, there is, so this is from the gamepost.com. They released and this was posted in our in the server for us to read. um they apparently, NetEase has responded to speculation about Destiny Rising PC support. So that is actually, that's the headline. So
Okay.
basically, what it says, like, NetEase Games finally addresses fan speculation about a potential PC client for Destiny Rising following the mobile game's big announcement. So this was back on November 14th. Um I'm trying to find the actual answer. When the first closed alpha test just around the corner, blah, blah, blah. Give me the answer. Will the game eventually be playable on PC or not?
I think they will. I think they will port it. I mean,
So,
a lot of people like being able to play these games.
oh, I didn't realize
Um,
NetEase also was developed Diablo Immortal.
yeah.
I didn't
And they
realize
have
that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Diablo Immortal has a lot of microtransactions.
Yeah, which sadly that doesn't surprise me. So, oh, I think this is it. 2 days after the initial announcement, NetEase Games addressed the growing speculation about a potential PC client for Destiny Rising on the game's official Discord server. While the developer didn't outright confirm a dedicated PC client, the response hinted that the game getting a PC support is definitely a possibility, depending heavily on player feedback and demand. So it is
Yeah, and I
possible.
agree. So I agree with what Dan said. He did say like it's probably based on player desire, and I agree with that
Yeah.
because that's how Diablo kind of came to be. People didn't want to really play it on mobile, and they were like, "All right, fine. So we'll just port it for you, and now you have it where you can just download it."
Yep.
And it runs better. I'm not gonna lie, it runs better
I
actually
mean,
as a on the PC type
sure,
of game.
we have mini computers, but these mini computers aren't going to hold up to our bigger computers. Like,
No,
come on, come on,
no.
games and developers.
No, and I know I'm getting a new phone soon, and I'm not gonna put a game like that, and that's gonna just drain it right away. Not
And also,
happening.
a lot of people struggle with storage. Like right now, my storage is pretty
Yeah,
low because I need to do a massive like photo and video
dump.
dump, in this
Yeah.
deleted bunch of crap just because like I have my honeymoon. I have so much stuff. I have so many videos for like recording cooking videos for my TikTok and ay,
Oi, oi, oi.
ay, ay, ay. Anyway, we do also, guys, have a little bit of uh crazy stuff happening over on Twitch. So, KP, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
we got trouble on Twitch happening, you know. At least for a well-known streamer. If you guys know him, you may have heard his name. Well, Twitch suspended streamer Osmond Gold, who after he had his rant about Palestine. So in a video, Osman, as he kind of goes by short, was seen calling Palestinians an inferior culture. Following this incident, Osman posted on an apology on Twitter or X saying, quote, looking back on it, it was way too much of an asshole. I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing, my bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid shit like that. I'll do better. But this has set off quite a domino effect because he's now facing backlash from his fellow Twitch streamers and he's stepping down from his leadership positions with EA Sports organization OTK and PC supplier Starforge Systems. But Morgan, this just shows that we streamers are responsible for what we say, and it's okay to have opinions, but sometimes, it's just better to keep your mouth shut and then spew it in front of, instead of spewing it in front of, millions of viewers. We just gotta watch what we say.
Sometimes you just gotta learn to shut the fuck up.
Right.
So, this is also something that, um, it was interesting because I think I saw it also on TikTok, or it was either
Oh,
TikTok or Twitch.
sorry.
Oh,
Garden
go ahead.
Host, thank you so much for the follow. Sorry. I just say
Thanks,
that because I saw our thing go off.
Gardas. Thank you. So what's interesting about this though is I think it was either on Twitter or Twitch. I believe I saw them also send out a message, basically saying like I've realized my family has just talked with me like that, with the shows that I do, because like he does like a lot of like kind of almost like cynical reviews, especially on TikTok. That you know, it kind of said like I've realized that like the way I've been doing my things that like have created me to be someone who's really negative and not who I used to be, and kind of like also taking note like I am not doing well. Like if something like my mental health is not doing well, he's not using that as like a crutch, but like just saying like I've realized that like I'm not being a good person and I'm gonna do what I
Mhm.
can to better myself and to change that. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, it's nice to hear that, but sadly, you can't also take back what you said. So
Right, exactly. Well, and it goes to show it's not just what we talk about, it's not just what we read from what our chat's saying, it's also what's happening in the game too, that we are responsible. When
hmm
I was watching Pirate Software, he was actually playing Thorn and Liberty.
yeah,
And one of the things that he did was he said that he blurred out the entire chat, and everybody on stream that was in his chat was like, "What are you doing? What's going on? Why is this blurred? Are you having issues with the chat?" And he goes, "No." He said, This is purposely blurred because whatever said in this chat, I'm responsible for."
right,
So it's
right,
just we're responsible as a streamer, and that's something that I don't care if you're big or small. You just need to realize like we are responsible for what's being put out there.
absolutely.
All
But
right, I'm gonna get off my high horse.
but for now, in other news, Phasmophobia has officially announced their Halloween update and event. Whoop!
Took them long
It's
enough.
took it forever. But do stay tuned on that information because coming up a little bit later in the show, our resident ghost hunting expert, Shirtless Dan, will be joining us to break down all that you need to know about the Halloween event and much more. So we can't
Oh
wait
yeah,
for
we're gonna
that.
dive deep into this one. We've got
Really,
a lot to unpack.
it's gonna be a good segment for sure. I cannot wait. But for now, we're gonna do a quick short break just so we can, run to use the restroom, get a little water. You guys can get up and stretch, refill your coffee, tea, water, whatever you know, or, take the dog out, whatever you need to do, But yeah, we will be back giving you our deep dive shortly into the Steam Next Fest that just happened. All right. Be back soon,
You guys
y'all.
do. This is your first look at Space Kitten, an easy survival game. But easy, it is not. In this game, you are a kitten who is thrust down onto a planet where you will explore, gather, and mine for resources to survive the increasingly harsh environment, all while waiting for your rescue team to arrive. Let's dive into the gameplay to help you understand this game a little bit more. When you start, you are placed in a ship and you land on a planet. Now, this is where the game tells you, well, nothing. That's right, nothing. So as you walk around, you will see that you can start harvesting resources. What these resources are, I don't know. because the game doesn't provide you with any information, even if you hover over an item. As you gain resources, though, your cat paw up in the corner gains points. Not sure what that means either. But you will also see a menu bar on your left side, which tells you that you need to harvest certain materials in order to build said tools or buildings. But once again, no guidance. But I did build as much as I could before my rescue team came with a giant ball of yarn to take me home. And the only reason I knew that it was time to be rescued was the indicator at the bottom left corner. Now to the art design. Or should I say, a lack of art design. The graphics for this game are quite simple and 2D. As I was breaking down objects in the game, I was trying to figure out what types of materials they dropped. Like for instance, what is this? Or that? Or even this thing over here? I was able to make out that there is some ice apparently in the game. That is a tree over there, but I couldn't tell you what everything was. Oh, and I did eventually find water, which for some reason is a different art design than the rest of the world, which is interesting. Overall, the art design just reminded me of a piece done by Pablo Picasso. Now we dive into the soundtrack. And when I mean dive into the soundtrack, I mean just loud noises. At one point, it was just game sound overload. I was actually getting mentally tired from all the noise at once. Overall, Space Kitten, an easy survival game, has a lot of potential, but it is rough around the edges. With that being said, I think the game needs some work with graphics, sound, maybe add a soundtrack, and some guidance to the game. But this is the demo, so the developer still has time to make changes and updates to the game. Well, sorta. The game has a release date of November 8th, but until we see what the final product is, this is your first look at Space Kitten, an easy survival game.
Well, okay, Space Kitten being difficult.
More like just undescriptive. I mean, okay, so I was really excited for this game. I looked at the Steam page and I was like, oh my God, this game is so cute. It's a cat. You get to like build this survival thing. It looked like it was really intense and everything. And I'm like,
Sure.
cool, this will be a lot of fun. And then I get into it and there was like literally nothing. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is this thing that I picked up that I apparently can eat? And I don't know what it is. I'm like, I guess the one thing was a strawberry, but I don't know. Like it was very confusing. And like I told you, like I was like, oh well, I know that's a tree. But then when
Right.
you saw the pieces that came out of the tree, you're like, that's not what a tree looks like. It
What
was
is
just
this?
I was so confused and I didn't even realize that. I mean, yes, I read the description of the game, but I didn't even realize what was the purpose of me going down there to a planet and then being rescued. Like, like I don't know what my reasoning or purpose of going to a planet just to come back and be like, I finished the game. So I'm very confused. And as Tony says, yay, lack of instruction games.
Woo. Also, Tony, thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. We appreciate you. Yeah, so I just like overall, I feel like the developer still has a lot to work on,
Sure.
and
Sure.
I feel bad because I was like, oh, well, maybe this game's not coming out very soon. And then I looked and I'm like, oh, never mind. Never mind, November 8th. I guess this is kind of the finished product. I don't know. But yeah, there was and no soundtrack. So people are aware in the actual package that I put together. Do not think that's the actual soundtrack of the game. I added music just to make it actually appealing. So I don't want people to think that's the music you're going to hear in the game because there is none. There is literally
That's
no
wild.
soundtrack.
Who
So
makes a game and has no music?
it was weird. It was so odd. And then like the hitting of things were like
If you
old school, like the old school like Mario where he like jumps up and he hits a block.
Yeah.
kind of thing. That's how it sounded. And I was like, and so after hearing that and no music, I was like, this is very, like, if anybody has really bad, like, overly sensitive, like, sensory stuff, this is
Mm,
not a game for you. Because
that's
it
fair.
was
That's fair.
very high intense sensory overload.
Wow.
And yeah, I had a hard time with it. I mean, I think, like I said, I feel like it's got a good bone structure, but
Sure. Sure.
there's a lot it needs. It needs a lot of love. A lot of love.
Well, hopefully by the time it actually releases, it'll be better. Maybe like this is the demo they had prepped months ago for Next Fest, and then like they actually have something already better ready to go for that November release date. We'll see. We'll find out.
I do hope so. I do hope that's the case because I know when we were getting up to Next Fest and days to it, people were like, "I'm just finishing up my demo so I can be in Next Fest." And I'm like, I hope that was not the case.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
But you know, one game that I did see on Twitch that I was like, "Oh my gosh, we need to show this. This is really cool." Because I liked the graphics and I thought the guy on Twitch was on Twitter was really interesting. Is this undesired catch that is actually interesting enough? It's a horror game. I was like, "It's a horror game? What?" So their description on the Steam page is literally it's a horror game about catching creatures with your fishing ship.
Oh,
But I think it's really interesting. I think the
that's
guy
actually kind of cool.
yeah, like I like this about this game. It literally says your job is simple. 1, collect all amalgams. I don't know how to say it and don't die. Just don't die.
Hmm.
Okay.
And I see this also has a November release date.
Yes, but I feel like this guy has done a little bit more polish to it. But he doesn't have a like an actual set day. The other one had an actual set day, which I thought was
Right.
interesting.
Right. Right.
And he's
I like
already
this though.
updated
This looks
the
cool.
demo, so that tells you a
The
lot.
the graphics remind me a little bit of Lethal Company.
I can see that.
I
I
could
mean, and don't get me wrong.
I could see
I
this
give
being quite a catch.
Ah, I see what you did there. But don't get me wrong, I do give a lot of kudos to these people that are developers that are creating these games from scratch. It's not easy. So
Mhm.
even if I'm like, "Oh, they just
Preach.
need to rework or fix," it's not because I'm saying your game is terrible. I'm just saying that you just have little pieces that need help.
You have
And
areas to adjust and make
yes.
improvement. It's not that your game is shit.
Yes, exactly. Your game is not shit. Hey, Morgan, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Do you like ducklings?
I love ducklings.
And do you love dungeons?
I love dungeons.
Then I got a game for you. It's called
Oh,
Dungeons and Ducklings.
no way.
And honestly, this game is hilarious and I think it's adorable. It's you have baby ducklings that that have been kidnapped and you have to you play an angry mama duck.
Oh my god,
I
that's
mean, I
great.
would be an angry mama duck too. But it reminds me of Pac-Man a little bit,
I was gonna say
only
this
with
gives
an
me
added twist.
Pac-Man vibes for sure.
Yeah. It's so cute. I This one doesn't have an actual release date, so there is
It's a
still a
massive
lot of
crocodile with
time
a cowboy
to
hat.
yeah.
What the hell?
So there's still a lot of time to not really play the demo because the demo unfortunately will be ending after tomorrow, but there'll be time for them to make like changes and tweaks and everything to the game, which
And
will be
that's
cool.
if every demo not every demo does close.
Mhm.
So there is always the chance that some of them will still be up
Yes, it all depends on how what they want to do with Steam.
for sure. Absolutely.
I just think this game is so cute and you can customize them.
That's adorable. Oh my god. That's
Mama
really
Duck is
cute.
angry. Mama Duck has a sword.
Hell yeah, Mama Duck.
This is too cute. What's interesting though is I can see Tony playing this game. I don't know why.
What do you think?
You
What do you
totally
think,
see
Tony?
Tony just like, all right.
Well,
But
that's
I
also a cute looking
heard
one.
I heard that you have been getting a little crafty with your Steam's Next Fest demo.
I might have been. You know, here.
I'm sorry, what?
I might have been. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look. Have you ever wanted to make a name for yourself? That is the wrong one. I clicked the wrong scene because I know what I'm doing, guys. Okay. Here.
One makes mistakes from time to time.
Yep,
It's okay.
yep.
It happens.
Here you go. Here it is. Enjoy. Have you ever wanted to make a name for yourself by starting your own store and workshop in a fantasy town? Well, I'm Morgan, and I'm here with your first look at Craft Fantasy Merchant Simulator, which is one of the games highlighted in Steam's Next Fest. You play as a fantasy being, choosing between human, elf, cat, or insectoid. Once your race is chosen, then it's time to customize your character with a pretty decent number of options ranging from skin tone, hair, outfits, color palettes, and more. After naming your character and clicking start, you then get an opening dialogue that explains a bit of your character background, the town wind spell that your new shop just opened up in, and then you dive right in. You start at your desk and a bell rings, showing you an arrow flashing on the screen telling you to click it. When you do, you are greeted by a badger-looking being who puts in an order for a dagger. During the dagger creation process, they have a drop-down scroll that tells you the steps you need to complete. They even have an info image explaining how the forge system works. The crafting system is pretty easy to grasp for the most part. However, I did find it hard to figure out when you were actually done sharpening your blade, because there is no cue telling you when it's perfect. Now, that's because everything you make actually gets scored at the end of giving it to your customer. The game itself reminds me a lot of Strange Horticulture with the mechanics of making things and selling them to your clients. Speaking of art design, let's take a closer look. For a simulator game, this has to be one of the cutest games of the genre. The colors are amazing, they're vibrant, mystical, and eye-catching. And look at that detail! I really love the design of our little workbench. And our little friend Owlcat that's napping here too. The soundtrack is lovely. It has this beautiful and whimsical fantasy-esque soundtrack that I'm an absolute sucker for. Did you hear that? Over all the music, you hear a light purring coming from your napping Owlcat. I love this because purring is naturally a soothing sound, so it just helps add to those cozy, relaxing vibes this game really brings. Plus, if you go up to your companion and click your mouse button and move the cursor like you're petting them, the purring gets louder. Another thing I want to mention is the character dialogue. I'm not one who likes to read out loud for the entirety of the game, but this game actually has dialogue for every character we've met, even the introduction that I mentioned earlier.
Look at it! It's so trashy! Oh, I will stand out in every social event I attend back home. The factories can never turn this out, not with their rigid schematics.
Though I do believe the voice acting could use a little fine-tuning to sound a bit more natural. In all, I really enjoy the uniqueness we witness from the first 3 customers we meet within this demo. This game is a cute simulator about a crafter trying to make their mark in the Port Town Windspell, but we actually get to do the crafting. I love the overall art, gameplay, and music behind this single-player game. It is available now for a short demo that lasts about an hour, but it does have a planned release date of January 3rd, 2025. I definitely have this cute and cozy simulator on my wish list. I'm Morgan, and this is my first look at Craft Fantasy Merchant Simulator. So yeah, that was
Oh my god, that is
Craft.
cute. That is too cute.
It
That
is.
is too cute.
It's on my wish list. I want it so bad. I love Strange Horticulture. I've played it a little bit on my own, but I've been wanting to stream it for a while for people. Because I haven't beat the game. I've got into it to see if I would like it, and
Mhm.
because I know I like Strange Horticulture, diving into this actually has more mechanics for like crafting things than Strange Horticulture does, because that is more about going and finding like herbs and like different like plants and stuff, and then kind of labeling them and learning and knowing what they do, so when your clients come and ask for things, you can give them the correct herbs and like remedies that you need. So this is different. I was expecting Strange Horticulture vibes looking at like the details on the Steam page. And then when I
Yeah.
dived into it, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool with like the whole thing of like getting down the crafting bit. The anvil's surprisingly difficult to time that crap for hitting your ingots. I know that they were
Well, you did
saying
well.
thanks. There's one area I did really well, and then a lot of others where I did not.
So what you're
Um,
saying is you edited only that? No, I'm just kidding.
I just showed well, it gets exciting when you see it hit, you know? So I thought I was like, I'll show me being good, you know?
I
But yeah,
I will say though, the colors are just very vibrant compared to like mine.
very
I feel
vibrant.
like I was like, oh, I should have played this game. Dang it. I told Morgan to play this game. Okay, full disclosure. I was looking through Steam Next Fest and I'm looking at games and I came across this one. And I immediately went, Morgan, you have to play this game. This is totally up your alley. And then I was like, okay, great. She has her game. And then I'm looking for mine. I'm like, dang it. I should have chose that one. Oh well.
It was a good one. I liked it though. It was a fun time. But, you know, that wasn't the first one I was going to play. I was going to do 2 demos.
Yeah.
And the first one I was going to record was one called Following Seas. And
Mm.
I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I played it for like, I want to say 10 minutes trying to figure shit out, and I couldn't do it. So honestly though, I'm
She
gonna
threw the towel in real fast.
oh,
She
you
waved
know.
her surrender flag.
Literally, so like this game looks really cool. Following Seas is a game about ships and the sea. So you transport cargo, fish, and you know, fight the weather in an unforgiving open world. And for me, I was like, I will probably love this. I love Sea of Thieves. I want to try this out. It visually looks really nice. I think there's a lot of nice detailing to the ship. You can fish. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, this feels a little bit of like Sea of Thieves knockoff.
Okay.
But
Minus the crew.
yeah, minus the crew and you know, with like the transporting a cargo and everything, there's no PvP. Um I was curious to see what this is gonna unfold and what type of game style we were gonna get from this, right? So
Yeah.
it starts out that you are actually a prisoner on a ship,
Oh.
and the ship is sinking, and the captain's like, we're leaving, but I'm not gonna leave. Like we're taking the boat, like we're taking the basically the rowboats and effing
Okay.
off and saving ourselves. He's like, but I'm not gonna leave you locked here to die. So they at least unlock the door for me and then leave it for myself to
Okay.
figure it out.
But
And
no
so
ship?
then
Like you just have the sinking ship?
we have the sinking ship. So I'm
Do you
running
fix
around.
the sinking ship?
That's the thing. So like we're like when I walk out from my cell, we're on the bottom deck. There is a hole spewing water in. I do think that, you know, I do want to say I think Sea of Thieves does a better job of like, because it actually fills up um the ship and everything, where this one kind of doesn't. So at least
Mhm.
not to, when I was down there, you couldn't really tell. I didn't go back down a lot because I'm then up top trying to figure out what do I do. I can't see anything around me because it's like dark out and foggy. There's things that I can grab and do. There's no everything is ripped apart in terms of the um the sails. Everything's just
Okay.
wrecked. So I'm running around trying to figure out, but there's no dialogue and information on how to actually like play the game and what your steps are. There's no like tutorial to it. And so I was like, I can't even record this as a demo because I genuinely cannot figure out what I'm doing. And all of a sudden my ship is sinking. Like there is water up to the like from the bottom all the way up. And it's like crooked. And I'm just standing there like, do I die? Like what happens? I don't know what's gonna happen. And so I just had to end it there. And I was like, this isn't something I can sadly record a demo for.
Hmm.
So going forward, I think this game visually, from what I see in the trailers, even what I saw when I was playing a little bit, has a lot of potential. It looks like it's gonna be nice, especially with everything I get to see in the trailer that I wasn't able to do.
Yeah.
I just hope that they do input a tutorial system and help people like learn it. I'm sure they want to make it where like, oh, you're thrown into this and you just got to figure it out because that's what is actually happening to your character. But I also would like some help because I don't know as a player what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. I think, like I said, the games that we chose are not just games because, we're like, these are crap. It's just games that we found interesting.
Yep.
And it's just, guys, I love the fact that you guys are part of Steam Next Fest. It helps out a lot. It helps us give like demos and helps us showcase things for our viewers. But developers, please take these notes as just notes that you need to make the game quality of life. Happy gamer, happy streamer.
Like if I would have been able to like if I would have been able to
Don't Dan,
actually
not love that you're here. Now get better. No, 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 no.
if I was able to actually figure out how the hell to play the game, I would have had a
Yeah,
demo. I would have been really enjoying it. It would have been super nice. Sadly, that's not what we got, but I still have faith that this game's gonna be a good game from what I can see. Like the trailers, they have gameplay in the trailer. Great, that's
yeah.
amazing. I want to be able to do that, but I struggled to figure out how in your demo.
Well, in the second trailer, it was interesting as you were, talking about the game and everything. I'm watching it, and literally the ship was sinking, and then it was turned to the side, and I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god.
That's what happened to me, and I'm just like, what do I do?
Yeah, just like a little tutorial, just like it doesn't have to be like use WASD to move. Like
Right?
we know that's what you're supposed to do in most games. Use WASD to move. Give us the other stuff like go get this piece of object, hit E to pick up, and then put on piece of object.
Help
You know,
me, help you.
that's right, right. Don't give me the basis of. Did you know that if you push WASD, you move? Did you know that
Excuse me.
if you hit shift, you sprint? Okay,
I
cool.
don't need that info, but how do I get myself from like the sinking ship to safety?
That's right. That's right.
Thanks.
Nice. How do I fix said ship that is falling apart?
Yeah. Well, on the other side, I have it again. I think this game has potential. It is released, it doesn't have a planned release date yet. So we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. I'm gonna keep. It looks interesting and it looks something up my alley. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see what ends up happening. But there's another game I found that I think has crazy potential, and that is the game, the actually heavy metal horror game, The Axis
Another horror.
Unseen. So let's go ahead and show everybody that real quick. This is the game that I am hitting play on. So this actually is supposed to be releasing later this month on October 22nd, which is actually Rob's birthday, funny enough.
Ooh.
And yeah, yeah. But with that being said, the Axis Unseen is a heavy metal horror game created by one of the developers of Skyrim, Starfield, and Fallout. So you hunt nightmarish monsters from ancient folklore in a mysterious open world, collecting their enhanced sense powers and discovering elemental arrows. But you better beware because the hunter is also the hunted. So I find this really interesting. I for me it has so much potential because like you see that you're tracking visually. I really really like how it looks visually. It deals with like folklore stuff, so that's right up my fucking alley. I love anything that's like folklore, mythology based. Um, and but it's created by one of the developers of Skyrim, Starfield, and Fallout. So right there,
Mhm.
that developer is just Perky Games. Um, I'm immediately have high hopes for this because it is a developer for such successful games. So I am intrigued to see, what ends up happening. But it is a heavy metal horror game, which is fun. So there'll be a lot of that involved in it. The demo is currently available. We'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, it releases on October 22nd. And the progress, if you do play the demo, the progress from the demo will automatically carry forward to the full game, and achievements will unlock when you load your save in the full game.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's super cool and super nice. That's actually in the about the game section that they let you know that. So there is I just think this looks really nice. What do you think from
Yeah,
your
I'm
preview
not.
of
I
it?
mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really do Skyrim. I did try Starfield.
Hmm.
I did try Fallout, but I'm not a big single player person, unfortunately. But I do
That's
like
fair.
how this looks. I think they did a good job with it, just because it is difficult to make a game look at least. Doesn't have to look triple A quality, because I know that's what most people are trying to do nowadays. But to make it at least a look playable and presentable, and presentable in the sense of like it doesn't look like the graphics are from 1920s. Not that
For
there were
sure.
graphics
For
back in
sure.
1920s, but the fact that this is at least something that looks very playable. It looks, if anything, it does give you, like, when you said Skyrim, I was like, yeah, I immediately see Skyrim from it. I
Yep.
didn't really see Fallout so much in Starfield, but definitely the Skyrim, just because of the type of uh um look
Like
that we're
game and
trying to go
design.
for, like, yeah, like the gameplay kind of look. I like the fact that it is a bow, like that is totally up your alley. I know you are a bow person, and that's really cool. I
Fancy arrows, say less.
It's right. But I just have a hard time with single player games, just because I'm kind of like Dan in a sense, where Dan doesn't like to play a lot of spooky games by himself because he gets jumpy. I'm like that in single player games,
So
especially with these kinds.
I agree. I get single player fatigue. Like I'm definitely someone who I'm a gamer who really likes to play games with others, and it really has to have a really captivating story or be something that's pretty like simple that I can like leave and come back to. Because like when I'm playing single player games, like give me an hour and then I'm like, okay, time to switch and go play with my friends.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's why I lean towards other types of games, but I am curious to see like what else is with the game.
Sure,
Like you have a
sure.
bow, I love like the little details on the actual bow itself.
Me too.
Um
Like the runes and stuff it looks like it has.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, like, what else are they going to add to it eventually, because I saw you have a knife. They showed the knife,
Right.
as the
Right.
guy was hitting the hay, so I thought that was cool. I definitely think this is one that, if you are a huge Skyrim fan, or even Starfield and Fallout, definitely add it to your list. Like, I can see people, like, I can even see my brother playing this, because my brother played all of the Skyrim games,
Mhm.
and he played all the Fallout games, and he was a big fan of all that stuff. So yeah, no, there's no knocking people who love single player games. Go
I
for
do
it.
have this demo installed, so if the demo does not leave and I guess actually it releases in 2 days, so I probably won't need to worry about the demo. But if I get a chance, I would like to, get this game depending on the price,
Yeah.
and dive in and actually get us some sort of like demo and review for it. Um, but yeah, I'm really intrigued, and though it's a heavy metal horror game, so I want to know more about the heavy metal because I feel like in the marketing, obviously we weren't playing the audio. There is some heavy metal music. I'm curious to like if there's any additional like bit to that, or if it's just the soundtrack is what makes it heavy metal.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
that's
Who
also
knows?
I also like heavy metal music, so it'll be interesting to see.
Dan said that the
Yes.
demo will be available until the release of October 22nd, which, I mean, it's 2 days away. So
Yeah, it releases in 2 days, so I'm sure the
yeah.
demo leaves after it releases. So
I
that'll
like how they
be
say the game plans to unlock in approximately 1 day and 19 hours.
see,
For
look
me.
at that. Look at that. But yeah, that is any other thoughts before we wrap up our Steam Next Fest segment?
No, I think there was a lot of good games. The only thing I would say is the only disappointment I had was with them is the layout.
I
We have
didn't like
seen,
it this year.
yeah, we've seen Steam Next Fest done before, several times. We've covered it, and it always felt like it was way easier to see all the games because there's hundreds of games. It's not just, one game or two games. It's a lot. It's a lot of these developers
Yeah.
coming out to showcase their products that they want gamers to look at. And that's even how Phasmo got its start. Phasmo, I think, was a Steam Next Fest that became an indie game that when it was released and it took off. And so
Here, I'll
I just would
show.
have liked a better layout for this year just to make it a little bit easier on the gamers to find, maybe those hidden gems that are like a Phasmo, and be able to play them. Because I had a hard time myself, because I'm looking for certain specific games that I kind of my go-tos, and I had a hard time just being like, what else do you have? Because it feels like I only had 10 options. I don't know about how you felt, Morgan,
Yeah,
but that's how it
so
felt for me.
I 100% agree because like I'm showing it right now, guys. So I'm scrolling, like once you get to the bottom of this list, that's kind of it, and you're on your own to explore. Like it is a good amount. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm scrolling pretty fast. You can hit show more, but like for me, who like will scroll this on my phone, especially like sure I'm on my PC a lot, but I was doing a lot of research on my phone. That way I was just relaxing in bed, whatever. Um, Dan was driving the car somewhere, so I was just looking. Like I just felt like it was almost too condensed.
Yeah.
And you have to go. You can let's go by the different genres, and you can filter by genre, and that's kind of what I did to find the games I wanted to talk about tonight. Um,
We actually have somebody on YouTube who wrote us, and said, "Good streams. How about playing the Next Fest demo of our door gunner themed first person game, Good Kill,
ooh, we'll
set
have to put
in
that in.
Vietnam?" And they said, "We'd love to hear your thoughts."
Yeah, we can totally make a demo review on that.
Sorry, I
Absolutely.
don't know how to say your name though. It's like Al Tuj, I guess is how you would say it, and correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, we will totally check that out. Thank you for reaching out to us.
Here, I'll write the name down on my sticky note so I don't forget.
That's awesome. Yeah, good kill. Do you want to bring that up so we can show people what it looks like?
Absolutely. Let me search it real quick since I'm still showing everything. While am pulling it out, here it is. Never
Here we
mind.
go.
I'll
It's
link it.
good kill with an exclamation point, by the way. It's pronounced up to. Oh, perfect. Okay, that helps.
Here, I'll make the trailer bigger for everybody.
Oh, this looks really good.
Yeah, visually this looks really good. It gives me what am I thinking of? This makes me think a little bit of the uh like when you're first flying into like Predator hunting
Oh,
grounds.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Predator Hunting Ground, that
Yeah.
one? Yeah. So there's no release date on this yet. Do you know up to if you guys are going to have your demo run past tomorrow? Is your demo going to be up past tomorrow? Because I know most demos come down, and there are some developers that will keep it up past that kill date, is what I like to call it. Oh, they already did a patch 2 and
Oh,
reworked some stuff.
so what it says here, and like you experience the adrenaline rush of the Vietnam War in Good Kill, where you are thrust into the heart of war as a door gunner. So yeah, it's all like you just engage in intense firefights and go through like the dynamic environments, upgrade your arsenal to dominate the battlefield, and immerse yourself in an unforgettable FPS experience. That's really unique. I like the idea and the thought of it being a like you're in this fixed position as a door gunner. That's actually really cool. That's
Hmm.
really different, and I really like that. As someone
Yeah.
who's like really also into aircraft, that's something definitely up my alley.
Oh, I do like So up to said that I don't know, I'm on the marketing team. Okay, no worries. I was just curious if you had an answer to that because we know that Next Fest ends tomorrow and we just wanted to make sure that we got some time in to play this before the demos come down. Oh, it looks like inside on one of the images. Oh, that's a warning. I wonder if that becomes I can't really read it too well because the camera's not on it, but I wonder if that becomes something else down the road or like that just gives you little clues or something. But it does look like you do go to the ground also at some point.
That's probably for the upgrades and stuff, I would assume.
Maybe, but on the ground it looks like that might be where the upgrades are.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I see, I see.
And then you jump back up
This
into
looks
the
really
plane.
good. I like visually this looks really, really stunning. Especially
Mm-hmm.
with like here, I'll make this if I can. Yeah, I can. The like the lighting on this and the shadow work and everything looks really nice.
Yeah.
And it's a great job to the art team and everything. Yeah, I'm definitely interested into checking this out. I'll add it to my wish list right now so I have it like pinned so I can go check it out. Awesome. Thank you so much for reaching out to us, up to. Much appreciated.
And then we just got another one. Hey, can you watch this really cool? Oh,
That's just
dope.
kind of yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
We're just, yeah. No, we're gonna say no to you.
All right. If the helicopter crashes, there is a section on the ground where you can continue to fight. That is really cool. So it kind of gives you more of that immersion.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah, and
reaching
if you
out.
want to put if you want to give us like a Twitter or X account for us to tag when we do go through and do a review on it so we can at least tag you guys in the in our tweet, that would be great. If you don't mind sending that to us. We would appreciate that.
All right. Well, shall we hop on over to a quick little break before we dive into the spooky updates we have for everybody?
You mean before we pull our ghost hunter expert in and ask him if he's seen anything?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, please stay tuned and hang in there. We're going to take a short break. That way I can go refill my water because I am parched. And once again, thank you, up to, for reaching out. We greatly appreciate you and, thank you for enjoying the stream. But we'll be back shortly, everybody. See you soon. All right, now guys, it's time for your Halloween updates.
Yes. And we're learning more games are releasing details on their Halloween events. So I'm going to talk about Deep Rock Galactic because
Love
it
that game.
is, oh my God, this game is so much fun. And I really want to get back into it just because of the spooky stuff that's happening. So they're getting their spooky season with their Halloween event. And this time the full moon shines, bringing out your inner canine. You and your diggy diggy friends will get to don a new creeper wolf mask headgear, earn Halloween cosmetics from past events, and during the event there will be cackling skulls flying around the caves, which you will shoot them down and deposit them, and then you'll earn double mission performance point bonus. Now, this Halloween event will start October 24th and lasts through November 7th. And Morgan, it does seem like there's a lot of games that are releasing late Halloween events lately.
Yeah, which
And I don't understand.
surprises me. Like, come on, guys. Like, we are 11 days from Halloween. Like, sure, the spooky spirit doesn't have to end as soon as the day Halloween is over. But, like, I am so surprised. Like, what has happened, y'all? Like, have you just been, like, struggling? Has it been layoff issues? Like, with the. I know the video game industry is having an interesting time right now. But, like,
Yeah.
part of me is just like, what is happening? Because everything has been coming out so late. There's been so many late Halloween announcements. Even like Destiny, for example, we aren't getting our Festival of the Lost until this Tuesday. Like that and that's normal. Like they usually wait until the third reset of the month, but like it's just so bizarre to me. Like why not have
Hmm.
more longevity, especially for players like if you think about it, for me like who always has like a crazy busy schedule, like it'd be
Right.
nice to have these events longer because sometimes there's special things to get during these events and if you don't do them they're gone forever. So
Right. Right. I mean,
I'm shocked.
yeah, I'm very surprised that it's taking them longer to put things out. And I'm sorry, but like I have other games too that I like to play, and
Mm-hmm.
so I like to make sure I have enough room for everything. And now it feels like now I have to do like a mad dash to get everything complete for every game because I know I have sent out to our group chat a bunch going, "Hey, so this one has an update and this one has an
Right.
update. Oh, there's an update on this one." So, I can only imagine everybody's heads are spinning because as you know, we all have a lot of games.
We sure do.
Dan goes, "Give me a month to schedule when I can get into it all." My favorite
Facts.
line when I talk to Dan about playing a game, and Morgan, you can attest to this too, is always like, "I know we have a lot of video games. I'm just putting this there
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
we know
yeah.
that it's there."
And so like Dan just said in chat, Halloween events should last the entire month, and the same goes for like seasonal and holiday events. I agree. Like this time of the year is the busiest time of year for everybody. Sure, probably a little bit more closer to Thanksgiving, but a lot of people are crazy about Halloween. I always have a big Halloween party. I did it that last night because I'm gone for 2 weeks, so I can go trick or treating with my nieces in Arizona. Like, you know, there's so much that's going on, and usually there's like places I go and like things that I go do. Dan and I, because being in Michigan, we have a lot of great like apple orchards, so we go and do like seasonal events to enjoy ourselves because we like to get out and keep ourselves busy. So with all of that, like having only like a week or two to do everything in these games for a lot of games that I play is really disappointing. And like at being
Mhm.
a streamer too, and knowing that you have so many streamers who play your games, why not give them a longer time to actually showcase your game to their viewers?
Right.
So
Right.
it's surprising to me that it's so low, and I think the one that actually shocks me the most because they've never taken this long to announce their Halloween event is Phasmophobia, which is a big thing we're about to get into discussing.
But I will
Um,
say, I mean, I've told you this off stream before, that last year IGN had a full calendar of
yep,
all the different Halloween events and everything. And
yep.
Phasmo's Halloween event last year was on the 26th, which is fascinating because it seems like they like to lean towards the later time of the month, which is fine. But if you're going to tell us that, at least announce it at the beginning of the month to give us time to,
Agreed.
kind of get ourselves footed for this whole thing. So we know
That way I
what's
can
going on.
clear my calendar for a day or two to enjoy your event.
But
Like
even their teaser didn't make sense to me when they did the first teaser. We were like, okay, so we have this image, and you told us nothing.
yeah, like okay, we know that something's coming, but when? They
And
they
then
could
and
have
then
they
on
could
top
have
of
just
that, they
had
were like,
the image and saying coming this date.
yeah,
That
yeah.
and that's it. And they were like, okay, we know this date. They're doing something.
But instead they decided, what? We'll give you this little image, and then, oh, by the way, did you know that you can buy from Makeshift a Patient '07 off of our website? Who the fuck is Patient '07? We're going to dive into that though, because you know what? Our expert ghost hunting shirtless Dan is here to help us break it all down,
Yeah.
including what the hell is Patient '07?
Yeah. Well, hello, Dan. Thank you so much for joining us as you rub your face over
Like, oh, no.
remember to
phasmophobia. So
Oh man.
where do you want to start? We're gonna let you kind of lead this bit if you don't mind, because I know you have a lot of things to
Okay.
say, and we want to make sure you get out what you want to say.
Let's see. So there's been a lot of weirdness with Phasmophobia, and it's kind of like a lot of hype and then wait, and then hype and then wait. Um, we kind of have to go back a little bit of ways. Granted, there's been some real world changes and consequences to certain things that have happened, but when they first announced that they were going to be doing a console release, everybody was super excited. And then their studio burned down. And they
That's
had to
not
push that
karma at
back.
all.
I mean, it just felt like really bad for them at that point, because like
Sure.
Yeah.
everybody was really excited for it. And I was even hanging out with some friends for my friend Steve's bachelor party a couple of weeks ago, and half of them have been overly excited to play Phasmo because they know me, they know my friend, and it's like, well, we're all big Phasmo fans, and they only have consoles. So
Mm.
come on, guys, we want to play. Granted, when the studio burned down, it's kind of hard to like pick everything back up and get exactly where you were at that point in time,
It
unless
is
you
a
had like tons
setback
and tons of backups.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
huge
Oh, yeah.
setback.
Right. And I think they were going to do that around the Halloween event last year.
Gotcha.
And then that just kind of got everything pushed back. But kind of to also piggyback off of the announcements with that, I'm kind of leaning towards thinking that they couldn't really say anything because they didn't know when the PlayStation and Sony and Microsoft were going to give them like, yes, you can put your game out on this day.
Sure.
Because
And that's fair.
they were only allowed to wish list the game. We couldn't even do pre-orders. And I'm wondering if that was a decision that was made by the execs or whoever is in charge of their contract at those consoles.
But not to knock them, but at the
Mhm.
same time, they could have said, we are experiencing some difficulties right now. We will
Yeah.
not be able to release, or stay tuned. We will have more information regarding what the Halloween event will be soon. Just bear with us as we try to figure out said problems. Like, there was no open
Yeah.
communication, as we saw. It was very much people, and I'm just like you, Dan. I'm a huge Phasmo
Mhm.
fan, and I rode their Twitter like no other. And all I saw was, well, when are we getting it? When are we getting it? When is it coming out? I want it on console. When is it going to be here? So
Yeah.
it just felt
Every
like they
tweet
were
for the
very
last
like,
year.
the marketing team needed to just, I don't care. I mean, I work in communications. You have to be like, look, we have this huge following. We have this huge group of gamers that
Mhm.
love us, and we're now offering this. We need to be a little bit more open about what's going on. We don't have to tell them everything, but we need to say something because we are getting bombarded.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. If you look at, you could pick almost any random tweet that they've made. There's at least 2, 3, 4 people that are saying console release when. So it's been something that they've been harped on for a year, and I'm actually kind of wondering if the reason why they didn't want to say anything was because they just got tired of hearing it.
So that's the thing is like, but if you answer people, the less likely they're gonna are to like harass you in your comments. Like if
Yeah.
you just say like, "Hey, right now we are set like we due to the the loss of our studio and trying to recoup from that, we are in a position where we have to like our launch our launch and announcement of when we're moving to council is currently delayed. It is still a milestone we are working towards, but it's just going to take us a little longer than we were hoping due to this disaster that happened to our studio."
But
And
they did say
Yeah.
that. They did actually open
A
up
year
about the
ago.
fact of, yeah, they did actually talk
okay,
about that. And they
okay,
were
okay,
very much
okay.
more open in that sense. But I don't know why the communication level fell off as we got closer to where we are now because they were
Maybe they lost
very
people.
open.
Like maybe some of their staff left. I don't know.
I mean,
Not
I
sure.
get that, but at the
Only
same
like
time, I'm like,
maybe 10 people, I think, at most.
Yeah, but when you're a small when you're a small developer and you're working on such a small team and like your person
Yeah.
who sometimes you only have one person who's doing all of that stuff and who really knows like the best practices, you might just have somebody filling in, getting out what they need to get out, but doesn't understand the importance of doing that sort of communication with the group. I've been in that situation before, as it when I
mhm.
was younger in my career trying to like yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm not used to this yet, but I'll get there.
Yeah. But on the plus side, it's only another, what was it, the 28th they're coming out? 26th? I can't remember the date.
28.
28th. Yeah,
Mhm.
28th for the Halloween update, but also the 29th for console release. And I'm kind of wondering if I kind of wish that they would have released it like a couple of weeks earlier, and I don't know
I
if
agree.
that's on Kinetic or if that's on Sony and Microsoft on holding the release off until then. Because it would have been, granted, it's like like you guys have been saying, like October, Halloween, spooky, everybody's excited for all of that. And Phasmo originally kicked off like at the end of September in
I was
2020.
gonna say I know a lot of I have a lot of big spooky like friends who love spooky season.
Yeah.
It is their personality that how much they love spooky and horror stuff, and the fact that like they start like mid and September, if not earlier, if not all year. Um, so it's surprising that like knowing like Phasmo has a massive following. They got as unlucky as COVID was, like they got really lucky that their launch came during COVID and
Yeah.
everybody was trying to find ways to connect with their friends and family that they can't go out and see. And this happened to be a really good game for that. So,
Oh, yeah.
like because of l- lucky for them, the time that they launched, they have a really good fan base and people who care. Like I don't play Phasmo as much anymore, but I love Phasmo. I love the game, and I'll hop into it anytime someone asks me to if I'm available because I do enjoy the game. So it's like it's one of those things where, come
We
on,
know, Morgan, you enjoy the truck.
okay, stop fucking teasing me about the truck. I love the truck. And it's not because I'm afraid of ghosts. I just genuinely love being like, I'm the admin. I'm watching everything. I don't know what it is. I am that person. I just love having all the cameras and flipping through the cameras and finding ghost ores and be like, ooh, I found it. I don't know. It's just my thing, okay? God.
I've gotten to the point where now I'm just a player of like, okay, I have nothing, I have no stakes in this. I don't care. I'm in there. Oh, look, I died, guys.
Yeah.
And then you hear on comms, hey, did Kitty die? Yeah, Kitty's dead. Oh well.
So yeah,
As
it
long as
just
I
And
got
then
no
there's
surprises
stakes
me.
in it, I don't care.
It
I will go in
surprises
there.
it surprises me from a marketing standpoint even that they wouldn't lean into their spooky season and their spooky updates sooner.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I
And
think
like
they
I said, I
tried a little bit
understand.
of.
I understand that we have all these issues. They're having problems, concerns,
Sure.
and it might not even be just like legal stuff. It may just be like we just can't figure out, because I know a lot of people were like, we can't get the voice part to work. Like the voice, that was what they were complaining about. It was the whole voice feature that's in the game. They couldn't get it working. People were having problems with it, and so that could just be what the issue was. And if it was something as simple as that, that's not something that you need to be like, oh, we need to go radio silent kind of situation. And then all of a sudden be
Right.
like, oh, by the way, though, did you know that you can get Patient 07 from our Makeshift store? Makeshift is a great place for you to get stuff from us. Go check it out. It just felt so forced at that point that I was like, I don't understand. And I know a lot of us have been sitting back in our group and have been saying, who the fuck is Patient 07? And Dan has actually figured that out for us.
Who is
Yeah,
it? Tell me.
So there's a little bit of a backstory to it that not a ton of casual players probably would have even known about. In fact, I wouldn't have even really known about it if I wasn't. I got lucky that I was actually just following around a couple of Phasmo streamers right around the
Gotcha.
time when they made this. Like they were talking about replacing the Asylum map. And they weren't really giving a ton of information about it, but they kind of did similar stuff to like what they did with Point Hope, where you had to go through different maps to try and uh, find clues and all sorts of different things that give you information about. It spelled out Point Hope for the name of things, and that was kind of like their hint of like, hey, we're making a new map. And it kind of made the sense of like it's probably going to be like a lighthouse or something, and it ended up being a lighthouse. But with the asylum, they had one specific room that if you got lucky and that was the evidence room for the ghost, you would have found it pretty quickly. But there was a streamer who noticed like that there was something going on in that room and saw a bunch of UV tally marks all over the room. People were trying to figure out like the meaning behind the tally marks, and that was when I actually came across it. Was when the streamer was trying to count up all of the tally marks in the room, and they found all these other messages, which I did actually go in and I had to look at it myself before they removed Asylum, because I don't really play Asylum that much, just because it was such a big map,
Such a
and
massive map.
yeah,
That
it
map
was
was
so
too
easy to
big.
get lost.
I got lost way too much. And like the thing is like Asylum. I always viewed Asylum as, even no matter the difficulty level, Asylum was high difficulty because of the fact that you could easily get lost and
Mhm.
get completely boned with not having a place to hide and just get
Yeah.
murdered. And like I feel like the most like almost team wipe. Like I remember most of the time, a lot of times when I played Asylum, everybody would get screwed over by like where they were because they got lost, would die, and then there should be a truck person on Asylum. That way they can just be like,
Fine.
okay,
I
I'm
give you
leaving.
that one. I give you that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Asylum,
I
School,
know Dan
definitely.
has heard me several times going, "Dad, where do I go?
School
What
school
do
and
I do?"
prison school and prison is a lot easier than Asylum in terms of, because Asylum was even just so much bigger than either of those maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was it? I think it was 88 rooms, I think, were the total amount in
Yeah.
Asylum.
I see,
Yeah, and
and
there was 2 stories.
I liked the idea of having the asylum, because everybody loves that like spooky asylum kind of vibe. I mean, shoot, I have
Yeah.
one here in Michigan that's not too far from me, and the whole thing around it is like, um, to me is like, why not do like, the asylums have different wings? Why not do like, you have asylum wing B, or like, and like those are different maps. Like you can still have the
Mhm.
asylum, but they're a little bit more condensed.
Yeah. Which They did kind of do, and I think we
Sure.
might actually want to try and play some more of the map that they actually revealed the name of with the whole Patient 07 storyline.
Yes.
Um, because Sunny Meadows has its full open map, and then there's Sunny Meadows Restricted that actually chops it down into a smaller chunk. So it takes the large map into a larger version of a small map, almost a medium-sized map. So
Okay.
it's a little bit more parsable, which is nice.
Very nice.
Which is
Yeah.
where actually Patient 07 went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after the markings on the wall in the room in Asylum, which was all the way near the back of the place in the original map, it mentioned going someplace new, maybe a place to heal, Sunny
Mhm.
Meadows, and then that ended up being the name of the new map. And if you go through Sunny Meadows, there's another room in there, one of the padded rooms, but you would stick somebody who's more than likely going to harm themselves if they had a non-padded wall.
Sure.
Um, there were more tick marks again on every wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't actually investigated this fully myself, but the one room in Sunny Meadows, the morgue, um, there's the trays that are pulled out, and there's one that actually has a body in it, but we haven't really spent enough time in there to fully investigate it. So, from my understanding, I believe that that is the fate of Patient 07.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's theories that the ghost of Patient 07 is who you can see in the new lobby map. So if you turn your gamma up and you look through that door that's next to the plaque
Oh.
that tells you your level beforehand, you can actually see a ghost, with its back to you, just kind of like doing the whole shimmy and shake. Uh,
I'm sorry, how did that
so you
go?
can actually see that there,
Thank you for the
doing,
demo.
doing that whole
Yep.
shimmy and shake,
Dan
just
does the
kind of
demo
hanging
for
in the
us.
back there.
So
Yeah,
like one thing
that's my next fest demo.
one thing I want to say with this part, like this whole Patient 07, right, is I love the fact of like having like almost like a storyline, something to follow in Phasmophobia, because the reason I don't play it as much anymore is just because like, okay, I've been there, done that. The maps are the
Mm-hmm.
same, like sure there are like
Yeah,
new things, but like after a while I was just kind of like, okay, this is just rinse and repeat, and I do get fatigued with a lot of rinse and repeat, and I do need to like switch it up for a little bit. And
yeah,
like it's just one of those things where it's like having something like that, like thing like clues to go hunt down and to like kind of like be like an investigator, not only for like this paranormal but for their story. I want more of that. I think that's really cool, and that is something that would give me player longevity for the game Phasmophobia.
yeah. I would actually kind of like to see something along the lines of, even if it's using still the same like 10 or 12 maps,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, a storyline where it's like, you wanted to play through the storyline of Patient 07, and it's like you say you start off in Tanglewood and you find clues there that lead you to them going on a camping trip to
Yep.
Camp Pines, or what, I can't remember the name of the campsite off the top of my head because I don't play it. Um, and then you go from the campsite um, to the asylum, and then from the asylum to, if they have a new map or something like that that tracks the ghost of Patient 07, to be able to finally put them at rest.
And
Yeah,
what
that'd be kind of really cool.
and what's
Which is
nice
kind of very
too.
similar to what they do with the seasonal events anyway, because we do follow a story.
Sure.
Unfortunately, that's just for that time. But yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think if we actually, or if it was more, I feel like if they upped it where it's like we get a case file and the case file is like you have to go to said place because of said haunting. Like, oh, this person just called in. We have a haunting that's happening at, let's say, the farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go to the farm. Like, it forces you to go to that map as opposed to just, which one should we start with today? Should we do a warm up, guys? Let's do a warm up. Let's start at the starter
Yeah.
map, which is then gives you that fatigue that you talk about, Morgan.
Yep.
I think if they switched it up a little bit, or maybe added like almost like a competition, or like whatever, or like maybe it's survival. I don't know. I don't know what the game mode would be called right off the
Or
top of my head.
honestly, even if there was like it doesn't have to be one um storyline is connected to all of the maps. Like obviously we have O7 that's connected to the asylum and this new map. Like okay, cool, that's their maps. What if there was other ones that can like different stories that connected in other maps? Because we can pick up items in the house like the lovely paint spray paint cans and chuck
Mm-hmm.
them and do stuff, you know? It'd be cool if you could actually like open drawers, find a photo or like investigate, you know, find more information. And I know the reason they probably don't do that is because it's kind of randomized of what ghost you're going against. But I
Mm-hmm.
still think like you could go against any type of ghost and it still be that character or that person. Like you can almost let you be like, oh fuck, we're hunting Mary today. Like she, oh man, she's always a freaking character. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think it'd be interesting. Like I'm a lore person and like as somebody who loves the paranormal and um I like to research and like find things about maybe the person that could be doing the haunting. I think that's a nice way to like help you as a researcher be able to connect to it. Obviously that's different than playing a game, but it kind of for me this game is very well a very good representation of actual real life paranormal hunting. So it'd be nice to see that additional inclusion
Mm-hmm.
and also
Yeah,
give me something that keeps me coming back.
You would,
which I
but
think it's going to be
wouldn't
very interesting for the Halloween event.
the Halloween event make you come back?
I mean, I'm gone for most of it.
Well, it comes out
Dan,
the
why don't you give her
28th.
give her some idea of what this Halloween event is going to be like? Maybe we can convince her to play while she's over in Arizona.
Well, that'll actually be kind of interesting because, granted, the event does come out a week from tomorrow, so it comes out on the 28th, which means I probably will be playing it on the 28th. Um, so anybody who wants to join in, that could be
But
something very fun to
hello,
do.
hi.
Yeah. um, so we don't really have a whole lot of information about the organization of the event yet. They've only really specified that, with that teaser image that we got, with the wings with the blood moon in the center of it,
Mhm.
and that's actually what this is going to be, a blood moon event. Um, but we don't know what the mechanics are going to be yet. I have a feeling it's probably going to be something similar to what they did with previous events, where the different maps will be indicated as like these are Blood Moon maps at this time, which could be something that I'm hoping that's what they're going to do with the final result of this.
Mhm.
It's a community challenge, but we
Yes.
don't know what the challenges are going to be yet.
Interesting.
Uh, yeah. So instead of it just being individual players unlocking stuff, the entire community is going to be trying to unlock new title cards, a trophy, and a Blood Moon weather event that
It
might
is
just stick
fascinating.
around. Yeah.
Hmm.
And they're saying they haven't really said anything about like how it's going to affect things mechanically, but I have a feeling that a Blood Moon event is probably either going to make the ghost more aggressive or um, come back in.
That'd be interesting.
Mm. Yeah.
Morgan, did your internet just kill? Oh,
Yeah, stream went out for where'd it go?
yeah, Morgan, we went
It's
offline.
fine. It's fine on my end.
Oh, yep, there we go. Now it's back. Yeah, it went offline and then back on.
Yeah,
Oh,
weird.
weird. My internet didn't drop or anything, and I have no lost frames or anything.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like it actually went to full offline for me.
I
And
blame Twitch.
even it's might be.
Weird.
I think it happened about a minute ago, right when your camera went all pixelated. It was
Well,
weird. I don't know,
sorry about that, but
but
it's good on my end.
yeah, it's
Okay.
all here now. So there might be two VODs. Who knows? But with the Blood Moon effect, I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with it. Like I said, if it's going to be multiple maps that just might have a Blood Moon icon over them, so it's like, oh, that's a
Mhm.
Blood Moon. We should go and investigate there, and kind of like influence player choice on which maps they want to choose.
Sure.
Um, as for what its effects are, No idea yet. What are we going to be doing for the event? No idea yet. But I do think it's probably going to be something where there's got to be something going on. Find a series of objects throughout the map. Get photos of the ghosts, kind of like what we've done in past events.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be very interested to see them um, do something unique, kind of like what they did for the Easter event, I think it was, where we had to
Oh, with the
find
bunny? With the
yeah, with
the jackrabbit?
where
I almost called him
it
the
finished on the
jackalope.
final map.
Oh, no, it is a jackalope.
Jackalope, yeah, with the
There.
antlers.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But if they do something like that where, we have to perform some kind of ritual, that would be a really neat thing. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that at some point in the future they do something like that where you can actually replay those old rituals, even if they revamped them. It's like, oh, go replay the old winter event where you had to use a snowball gun to shoot snowmen around the map
Oh my
to
gosh, that was so funny. That was so funny. That one was a good one too.
And that
the
would be
snowball
nice
gun
too,
was
because
fun mechanic.
I haven't been able to do all the Phasmophobia events just because, like, the holidays is a very busy time of year for me with,
Right.
like, Dan's big family and my big family. Like, I'm just slammed when it comes to the holidays. So it'd be nice to be able to replay those and experience what I had sadly missed out on.
Yeah. And it would be nice to even if they changed up the trophies to where it's just like, yeah, you played through the event, you get the trophy, but may not necessarily get the title card, like keep something specific to the
Mm-hmm.
people that played it at that point in time, but still be able to say, yes, I went through that event. May not have been at that moment in time because I was
Right.
on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because as we've seen, they announced the events like what, a week and a half before the event comes out, and it's like, oh crap, I already
And
have a planned vacation.
what's crazy to me is, like, so for example, I leave on Saturday the 26th. That's when I fly out, right? So
Right.
I can't believe they didn't launch it Friday, the 25th. They're losing on a whole weekend. This is only 2 weekends. This is 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
That is it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
surprised. Like, why not? Or on the other side, because it ends on, I think it's Wednesday the 13th.
Yeah, it
Um,
ends on November
Yeah.
13th.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it ends on November 13th, which is a Wednesday. Why not have it end like at like midnight or like 3 a.m. on Monday? Like, give everybody a weekend, because people who work that's just less
Right.
time for those people who don't have as much time to always put into games. Two
Right.
weekends isn't a lot
Yeah.
of time for an event.
Not really, but I mean, it could be. I don't know how long the event is actually going to take to complete. Because we've seen
Right.
in the past, like the Easter event with the getting the eggs, or the Halloween event in the past where you had to find what was it, buckets of candy and then light the
Yep.
candles and then take a picture of the ghost and do that on 5 different maps. Take 2, maybe 3 hours if you're
Mm-hmm.
unlucky. So
So
it might not be
the only thing is, though,
long.
that was something that you individually did. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't a group effort like this is for the community. Granted, obviously it has a large enough community. I'm not concerned about it taking forever, but we all know that the spike play hours are Friday nights,
Mm,
Saturdays, and Sundays. Like, I'm surprised they're
yeah.
only giving the community 2 weekends. Why not put it
Yeah.
out this Friday on the 25th, give everybody an extra Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, or do that on the opposite end, like on the other side of the game. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just surprised that there isn't a little bit more wiggle room and time for the community to play
Yeah.
this event.
Yeah, it's giving us like almost exactly 14 days from the day that it releases on console.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, okay, 2 weeks, 14 days. Oh, why not make it like, I don't know, 18 days?
Yeah.
I don't know, 18, 19 days, ended on the following Monday. What was it, the like 18th or something like that of November?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Give us an extra weekend
Yeah.
to get through it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That would be
I'm also
nice.
curious about the permanent fixtures that they're adding because they didn't really go into great
Yeah.
detail on it. But
Right.
apparently they're doing something with the event board where you can
Mm-hmm.
track your ongoing challenges, your rewards in game, But then you can also progress in the apocalypse challenges, which I don't know if that's going to be like a new. That's not new, is it? No, that is new.
Well, there was the Apocalypse Challenge in the past where you had to go to Sunny Meadows, get a perfect game, so it was all 10 photos were 3-star and gave you like the most amount of money that you could. You had to get a ghost photo, you had to get the bone photo. Um, you get the ghost right, you do all of the optional objectives, and you had to do that on a difficulty that gave you I think it was a times 23 multiplier originally.
Okay.
So you had to do it on custom settings. So it was like as difficult as you possibly can, do this perfect. And
Hmm.
that was what got you I think it was the Gold Asylum, Gold Apocalypse Challenge trophy. But doing those things as a regular player, I think there's even actually an achievement for it. And I don't think there have been very many people on Steam that have actually gotten this achievement.
Right.
Um, I'd have to look up the numbers for it again, but like if it's, I've always been of the mindset of if a challenge is so difficult that less than 1% of the players are going to be able to achieve it, then yeah, that's like a very prestigious thing.
Hmm.
But if you wanted to do something where it's like, oh, we're going to show you in the lobby or uh, give you a something that is actually going to make gameplay slightly different, whether it's a game that gives you like special weapons for completing challenges that are this difficult or high level armor. I don't really feel like those things should be locked to that high caliber of a player.
Yeah.
Like 10%, maybe 20%. Okay, yeah, that's about where I would say is like if you're going to give something that impacts gameplay. But anything less than 1%, it better be just like either a trophy or a cosmetic.
Exactly. And the game still has a lot of things that they left also just as coming soon. For instance, our cosmetics are coming soon and they've been coming soon for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that goes also. But speaking of Twitch streamers and gamers and everything, they released recently their partner program, which sounds
Mm.
so much fun.
Yeah, I have no knowledge of what this is. So what is it?
Dan will tell us.
So, for those of you that want to check it out, it was part of something that they had mentioned in a recent Twitter post. I'm pretty sure it's on their Discord as well. They are partnering with a company to make a sort of like a prestigious content creators program, their partner program, which gives early access to new game content, official assets to be able to use for your streaming or content creation. They'll put your channel link in their Twitter bio. Um, they will auto share all of your streaming content with their Discord. Um, they'll have specific Discord partner specific channels for you to access and communicate with other content creators. Um, and have and this is one of the things that just bugs me: direct access to Kinetic Games team. So if you're in the partner program, you get to talk directly to the game devs. So you would have like your input influence how the game is created and
Hmm.
updated.
Huh.
And then there's the whole thing of like, getting partner exclusive merchandise.
So this
Sure,
sounds
fine,
really
whatever.
great, doesn't it, Morgan? This sounds amazing,
So
right?
that part sounds so far it sounds good. What's the
Right, right.
catch?
It sounds really, really great. You're like, yeah, I want to join it, right? Like you're totally game for this, right?
So
Right?
far, but what's the catch? Where's the
Okay,
All
but?
here's
right,
the catch. Tell us the
here's the
catch,
catch.
Dan. What have we won?
Here's the catch. In order to be able to apply, ideally, this is their ideal. You need to have an average of 150 concurrent viewers on your stream twice per week, minimum of 100 active viewers. Or one video upload per week, averaging 5,000 views. And it all has to be Phasmo related content. So one video per week, averaging 5,000 views over the course of 6 months.
So what floors me about that is the fact that they were an indie developer who wants to
Yeah.
fuck over any chance of helping small streamers who are a bigger reason why the game is as successful as it is because of the smaller streamers of their community, because a lot of big streamers played it like 1-2 nights or not at all and dropped it.
Yeah.
And this
Or, I
is
mean, even
why.
the, yeah, for the content creation, you have to stream Phasmo twice a week just to be part of this for
Yeah.
like 6 months.
Wow.
So
I
I
don't know
got
too many streamers that are actively doing this. So their content creation team is probably going to be like a very small exclusive bunch of people.
Yeah, and
so I got super excited when I saw this, Morgan, and
Yeah.
I sent it off to Dan, and I was like, "You should do this," because I know he's a huge fan. And then as immediately after I started reading it, I went, "Oh, never mind. The requirements are crap." And it
Yeah.
really irritates me. It actually just makes me so annoyed because, like you said, they are an indie game who didn't make it until all of us smaller streamers were like, dude, this game is freaking sweet. You need to play it with me. And we're the ones who helped, but yet we're the ones that get fucked over the first time that they're like, oh, we should make a partner program. We'll get the biggest names like Ninja or, like
No, you
Osmond
won't.
Gold or maybe
'Cause-
we'll get Dr. Disrespect to help us. Fuck
'Cause
that.
those
Come on.
streamers don't play your game.
They
Like,
don't.
even like
Yeah.
still big name streamers that aren't as big as like the Ninjas and the Markipliers and everything else of the world, like that are still massive, like they have thousands plus. They played it like one night, maybe two, and they dropped it because it's just not their game. It's not content that they want to make all the time, or it's so repetitive that that it's just not what they always want to do. So
Right.
that's just frustrating for being an indie developer, knowing what it's like to be at the bottom, to then have not even just taking a chance like, oh, let's review your content, or give us a pitch as to why. It's just, I hate how things are just
Or
so
let me even
narrow.
tell us how many hours do you have in the game? Like we want to know, like, are you a fan of it? Have you played a lot of it? Like
Yeah.
not even in that sense. There's none of that. Like because I would, like I said, I was super excited because I know Dan has over 300 hours in this game, and I'm just like, he would be you're like
Almost
370
4.
something. You're like
Yeah.
370 something. I looked it up. Trust me. And I even ranted, and I'm not the only one on Twitter who ranted about this. There are other people who did as well, saying that this isn't fair. This is not fair for people who play the game and have, a love for the lore and a love for, the whole game itself.
Mhm.
And then you do this kind of crap to us. Like, and as I said to Dan in a private chat, off stream and everything, a streamer who is a partner and even a Palia partner, let's even go this route, does not play Palia every day. They play it when there's an update. They show the update to get people hyped, and then they drop off from it. So that's not even fair to sit there and be like, you need to play this twice a week. No, there's no freaking way I'm going to play this twice a week. I'm going to play it when you release a Halloween event. I'm going to play it when you release another event. I'm going to be like, or a big update. And I'm going to say, this is what's going on with the game. And then when I'm done, I'm going to say bye-bye to the game.
Yeah, because like the thing is too is like, look at us. I am not someone who's ever gonna get on Phasmo and play it by myself.
No.
And
Dan will,
like,
but I won't.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just how I am with this type of game. The way that the way this game plays is something for me that I don't really enjoy it by myself. I enjoy the like insanity of it with friends. And
Mhm.
could you imagine me being
Yeah.
a big like a
And
bigger let's say I'm a bigger streamer, or Dan was the bigger streamer, whatever, and I'm the partner with all my smaller streamer friends gaming together. Like, okay, well, but they're on the stream with me. Can we give them a bone? How can we help them out? Obviously, they can't do that for every single person. I know that that's like a really big
Yeah.
area of gray, but you gotta, there's supposed to be a stipulation like, okay, you gotta play this solo. Otherwise, they should be helping out my peeps who are playing it with me who are also streaming. Because
Yeah, I
they're
hope that's
helping
not a
them.
rule. Because that would
No.
suck.
No, it's I don't
Yeah.
think it's a rule, but like, just think about like how many most streamer in my I would assume most streams that I've ever seen people playing Phasmos, they're playing it in groups. I know there are people who do the solo challenges and everything else. They're also fun to watch, and it's really intriguing to see how they work as a solo player. But I'm never gonna touch this game by myself.
No.
Yeah. And like, here's a
I'm
good
just
example right now.
so
If you
disappointing.
pull up the Phasmophobia page, the Phasmophobia game page on Twitch right now, there are
Mhm.
only 2 people that are currently playing that would even be able to qualify for this. Out of
That's
everybody else,
insane.
there's 3,600 people watching people play Phasmo right now, and out of all of that, only 2 of those are able to qualify.
And that's sad.
Yeah. I mean, if it
It's
was
really
something
sad.
along the lines of you can like this is potentially a better way to do it, and it's kind of along the same lines as not Phasmo, as Palia did it, where you
Mhm.
can sign up for the content creators program, have access to the content creators section, be able to participate in content creator polls,
Good luck
so
getting
you're able to collect
accepted,
that
though.
information. Yeah. But I mean, even being able to just have that kind of input of like, I'm a content creator, I've streamed Palia content or Phasmo content. This is the kind of input that I would like to see. If you're asking,
Mhm.
hey, content creators, we're looking at doing thing X, Y, and Z. Which one would you most like to see? And then if the content creator community says, hey, out of the 30,000 of us that stream Phasmophobia from time to time and play this content, we would like to see feature Y.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, so that's something that, the people who play our game most often that display that content for us would probably be most interested in having. And then they'd probably want to showcase it, which kind of puts it out to the rest of the community. Kind of like a trickle down effect,
Right.
Yeah.
as opposed to, hey, we need these like 600 people to give us direct input on what they think.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
just makes it hard for anybody who's a smaller streamer to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I personally
So
cannot change the amount of people that come into my stream, based on like
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen. It's like Morgan or you, Dan. Like you can't change the amount of people that you have show up on your stream. You can't go out there and be like, you can blast on social media as much as you want, and that's fine. But like people have to find you. Like
Right.
you can't be like, hey, let me drag you in here. This
You
isn't
can
like
try-
Discord where I can drag you into another voice channel.
You can
know?
you can try to give that that call to action to people to come watch you as much as you want, whether it's on social media, just like on like Facebook, Twitter, posting stuff on Instagram, and like trying to mention that you are a streamer, or posting reels on TikTok. Like people, there's so many people that like I do watch that happen. They post their clips that I really like, but I don't go and watch their streams because I'm consuming their clips of their streams on social media. So
Yeah.
it's just it's a downer. Like you give that call to action, but it is on them to do the follow through and to actually hopefully do the action you're asking them to, which is to come watch, follow, support, and do that continuously, not just the one time.
And everything's the content creating space is so saturated that it is
Mm-hmm.
very, very rare that you're going to get like those really big numbers.
Absolutely.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, I'd be ecstatic if I had like 20 viewers for 3 streams. I would just be
Me
like, this is the
too.
best month ever.
Me too. Be like, oh my god, I made it past 10. I made it past 5.
well, any
On
other
the plus side, though, we have a
Phasmophobia
really nice
thoughts?
community. Sorry.
No, you're good. My apologies.
But on Phasmo, I am very curious to see how things go with it. I think that the future of the game may very well hinge on how the next 2 weeks go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Like
fair.
if their console release does not go well, I could see them kind of being like pushed to the back burner for almost everything on the console. The updates for the PC game are probably going to maintain about the same, if not kind of trickling even slower.
Right.
But if it goes well and there's like a huge response from the console community because there have been so many of them that have been so hyped up and excited about it for the last 2 years, if that goes well, then I could see Kinetic growing, increasing the quality of the game, putting out updates faster because they're probably going to have more people that are interested in applying for positions with them, so it might grow the company more. I feel like it all is going to hinge over like the next 2 weeks, which is kind of scary to say.
Yeah, and I do know that I read that alongside like the event, they're also releasing a big update for PC that's supposed to, bring a ton of optimizations and fixes, addressing community issues, and hopefully just improving the general game performance. So maybe that'll help too. Maybe that'll
Yeah.
help fix things for some of the the PC gamers that have been having issues. It's kind of like, okay, the stuff's fixed. I'll come back to it. So
Yeah.
we just gotta wait
Fingers
and see, I
crossed.
guess.
Right. Fingers crossed.
With that, I'm good.
He's like, I'm out.
I'm good.
I've said my piece.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else that you want to talk about, KP, on this topic? Or are you good as well?
I'm good. Yeah, we hit
Awesome.
everything that I wanted to talk about, so we're good.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on to discuss phasmophobia. Thank
Anytime.
you. Just so we can let people know, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
Well, predominantly you can find most of any content I create on twitch.tv/ShirtlessDan, spelled exactly like how it is in the ribbon down below. I do also throw any major content series up on my YouTube channel, which is also of the same name. I do need to go through and actually update some of that stuff because I think I realized that like half of the video game series for Mass Effect is still set to private. So I got to put that out there again.
Yikes.
But yeah, that's predominantly the two forms of content release that I do.
Awesome. Very nice. So yeah, chat, go give Dan some love. Go give Dan a follow or a subscribe if you haven't already, because even that little bit of support is a big thing for us small streamers.
Right.
But yeah, I just want to say to our chat, just as a reminder, tomorrow, October 21st, is the last day of Steam Next Fest. So there's always a chance that the demos will extend, but there will be demos that are leaving tomorrow. So go play your demos, go test them out, see if it's a game you want to buy, because this is the best thing to know. Do I want to spend my money on this? I know I will be for Craft Fantasy Merchant Simulator. But yeah, as always, we will have the topics we discussed in our show topics section of our Discord. So if you're not in our Discord already, make sure you follow our Discord. It is in our About section. Yeah, and also before we go, don't forget to check us out across all of our social medias. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search up Tehcyries and we will show up. And yeah, thank you.
That's right. And make sure that you show us some love, because we like you guys. Show us some love. So just hit that little heart button on Twitch, or if you're catching us on YouTube, hit that little subscribe button and you can rewatch
Ding dong
our
that
whole
bell.
entire show. So until then, though, while Morgan gets ready to head over to Arizona, where she will be next time.
Different environment. It'll be interesting. We'll see how audio sounds.
We'll see how I do. Keep processing, everyone, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, everyone.